As I say in the Navy toward the end of the evening, galley fires are out and prisoners are secure. If you're prisoners now, folks, in case you didn't know. First off, I want to thank a few people. I want to thank Patricia for all of the work and effort she did in getting this thing. Yay. And David for helping her. And Karen and Kai for being such good sports and great hosts. We've had more fun at their house than we deserve.
Yes.
And last, and there are probably plenty more I should be thanking, but I want to thank Olivia for the lovely blessing tonight for Deborah.
Yay.
Okay. Now what's going to happen here is my test.
Oh,
How you like that?
it's a trick. It's just the way.
You get that, David?
It's the way. It reminds me of a song. Yay!
I'm kind of like a KU football team. I can drop my pants anytime. So, and I hope you got that on your video.
It's there, man.
All right. With any kind of luck, thank you, Vicki. Vicki said I'll bring to that. What's going to happen here is I'm going to tell you how this all started. But first, I want to say that you are the biggest, the best, and the loudest family I've ever and you're wonderful, all of you. I'm going to tell you about how this thing started, and then I'm going to ask Lydia to tell you how it proceeded from the...
Then I'll correct anything.
Yeah.
Bet you don't drop. I bet you don't drop your pants.
Oh.
That takes a talent I didn't even know I had. And we've lived together for 70 years. Well, anyway, about 75 years ago, I lived in Norman and I worked at a place called the Town Tavern. It was a campus hangout, hamburger joint, beer joint, and so on, right on the Varsity corner. And among my other duties was delivering hamburgers to people that ordered it, and we had an old Model A Ford, and I drove it and made the deliveries. The fun ones, of course, were to the ladies' dorms and sororities, where I'd walk up. I'm 15 years old. I'd walk up on the second floor to make a delivery, and I'd hear the women saying, "Man on second, man on second." I thought, man, I'm a man. So anyway, we got a delivery at 913 Cruise. Some of you who are familiar with Norman might know where that is. It's right by the elementary school where I went through all my grades. Anyway, I went there with some hamburgers and some drinks, and went to the door and knocked.
Drinks.
Huh?
Soft drinks.
Soft drinks. Yeah. Wasn't this stuff. Anyway, this young chick comes to the door. She's new in town. Answers the door in this shapely robe, and it's a good-looking new kid in town. So I got first dibbies before all the other guys, and she sure enough enrolled in the same high school I was in, and we were seniors together. And one thing led to another, and after a short while, I took her to the junior-senior prom. dinner. We didn't have dances then, although we could dance and it was legal in Norman. And so we got pretty well acquainted, and I beat out the rest of the guys. I had plenty of competition, but it was a small school,
And I was a new girl.
she was the new girl in town, so naturally a lot of hits were in order. But I hit first and hardest, and so,
And you were the cutest.
and I was the cutest. So anyway, we started going together and soon started going steady, and as soon as we got to college and I joined the fraternity, I pinned her. So that would have been about 75 years ago. So we are not on our 70th anniversary. I'm saying we're on our 75th.
Wow.
And then I went to midshipman school. I joined the Navy right after Pearl Harbor in January of 42, and they let me finish college, and I went to Columbia University to go to a midshipman school. Well, at Columbia University, they separated the engineers, which I was one of, from the rest of the graduates who went into the university dorms. I went on to a ship called the Prairie State. It was USS Illinois, which was the flagship of Teddy Roosevelt's Great White Fleet. And it was a wonderful old ship, but it looked like the Ark. It had a big barn built on top of it, where our drill hall and study rooms were and so forth. And that was a 4-month experience. And when I graduated, I wasn't real sure ever that I was going to, but I did, and called or sent a telegram to Lydia, and she and my mother got on a train. In those days, you sat out in a chair car among all the soldiers and other people, and I think part of the way she had to sit in the restroom, but she came to Columbia, and we got married. And I'm going to ask her to tell you how wonderful it's been ever since.
Yay!
You knew the fun part, didn't you?
Yeah, you get the fun part. I'll see
Well,
that.
just look at all this, and you'll see what happened. You know, 4 beautiful kids, and then a 5th one who came to live with us when he was in high school. And so we say we have 5 children, and Dave's children are our grandchildren, just like all of our other kids' children are our grandchildren, which have all been a blessing, such a blessing to us. And then we finally had even great-grandchildren, and I'm so glad that we have 3 of them here today. So I guess I should say a little about leading up to Bob's mother and I getting on a train.
Train.
What did I say?
Plane.
No,
Train.
okay.
Excuse me.
That's all right. Anyway, when Bob graduated in May, I had worked full-time my last 2 years when I was a junior, and I had just started my junior year in college. The doctor who was in charge of the infirmary called me in. He was kind of a friend of the family. He was
Delivered me.
Delivered Bob, yeah. So that was his big achievement. Anyway, my younger sisters were friends of his daughters, and he called me in and asked if I would be interested in learning how to be the school, the infirmary librarian, medical librarian, and worked full time. I could still take 4 hours of classes every semester. And in the summer, they had 7 o'clock classes, and you didn't go to work till 8, so I could take 6 hours in the summer. So my last 2 years, I was working there and finishing school. Bob finished in May. I finished in August. My last course was a course about Melville and a 2-week course for a 3-hour credit. So you know the kind of education I got. I graduated in August, and Bob finished his learning to be a naval officer in October, and we didn't know if he would have any time, if he could come to Norman for a wedding, and I didn't have any money, so it wasn't going to be a big wedding, but it would have been a wedding. And so I wasn't thinking about a wedding dress. I bought a pretty suit and a darling little hat that fell off as it slid down my face, head when they took pictures, and those pictures are out of, I don't recognize them. That's why you see this, which is about, we were married almost a year, we never stayed. Anyway, we had no idea if he would get to come home, if he would go right overseas, but we didn't know. And so when he called me, he said, I don't get to go to Norman. I think knew you had 4 hours, 4 days, between the time of getting his commission and coming to, before he reported.
Yeah.
So his mother, Nell Evans, who was a lovely, lovely lady, and I got on the train, and as he said, got to New York City. Bob's sister, Carol, who is Sally's mother, Sally, there she is, and her husband, who was a chemical engineer for DuPont, lived in New Jersey, East Orange, New Jersey. And so they were our attendants, and he got his commission at 11:30 in the morning, and the day after we got there. Yeah. And we were married at 2:15, along with other kids. We were kids who were married, but you never did see the others. There were a bunch of weddings that day, which weren't formal weddings, and then we did. Bob's aunt lived there, and a cousin of his father's lived in New York City, and so they were there. So this was our group, and his aunt said, "Well, I would like to host a reception. Where would you like for it to be?" And Carol said, "How about the Astor Bar?" So that's where we went, and his aunt was a teetotaler, but she paid for our drinks, and she probably had iced tea, and we had our little reception there. We left then, we had our wedding night, which Bob had made reservations, the Wentworth Hotel, and we were there that night, and then the next night we left on the train to report to Williamsburg, Virginia, where we had 7 months, I think, there. Yeah. And a wonderful, met lots of wonderful people, were had lots of fun. So we've had a good marriage and had fun ever since. Most of the time.
Yay!
Champagne toast in just a second. It's on its way. So hang on to your glass.
Wow, you're fat.
You passionate.